Kings fans, today is the day. It is game 7. Win or go home, or stay home, I guess, for the Sacramento Kings. All eyes on Sacramento today. There has never been a game this big at Golden One Center. Sacramento Kings only been in a handful of game 7s in franchise history. The last game 7, they did lose, but I think the Kings are going to right the ship today. We've got so much pregame coverage for you. We're going to have coverage all day with halftime with Jerry Reynolds and postgame with Grant and Jerry. So we can't wait to get you ready for this huge day that we have all been looking forward to. Kings, Warriors, game 7. This is the pregame show on If You Don't Like That. What's going on, everybody? I am Ryan in Sacktown. Yeah, I'm already seeing the comments. Where is Grant? Where is Grant? He is traveling today, so he is gonna poke in whenever he can. But he will be here for the post-game show. We'll have Jerry Reynolds actually at halftime with me, so that'll be very exciting. Yes, indeed. Let's go, Kings. I want to get you guys in here as much as possible. Cody, my man, not a more loyal Kings fan than him in this group. Cody, that is so true. We got another let's go. And then we will end the Warriors dynasty. But I put the wrong one up. Sure, guys' comments are coming so fast. Here we go. Let's get to the right one. There it is. We will end the Warriors dynasty today. Yes, indeed, we will. If you guys are going to be at the game, send us your pictures, send us your reports. We want to hear from you. This show is going to be all about you getting ready for what is the game that we all kind of predicted, right? We all thought this thing was going to go 7. The Kings win a gutsy game in game 6. And they're gonna have to throw the kitchen sink again at the Warriors today to win. But this is going to be just a heck of a day. And to help us get ready for game 7, I'm bringing in our man, CDog25, Connor Danzy. What's up, man?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good. I'm seeing all these people that are at the game, and we absolutely love that. We will check on who is reffing today. Really not worried about it. It's not Tony Brothers, so feel good about that. I'm more worried about this Kings team and what they're going to do. And let's just kind of start out with the obvious. Game 6, Connor, the Kings found a little bit of magic, found a little bit of gold with something that was working on offense, going small. Connor, what do you expect the Kings to do today, starting the game and with their first rotation?
Yeah, I expect more of the same from Game 6. You're going to try to do everything you can to duplicate that performance, and I think that starts with Trey Lyles in the small ball lineup returning off the bench. That was a lineup that was really unstoppable for the Kings in Game 6, with Lyles hitting his threes at the top of the key and Monk and Fox playmaking. So expect restricted minutes for Alex Len. There may be a role for him here and there, but Trey Lyles is going to be your main guy with Monk off the bench again.
Yeah, I agree. Those two, it's a game, and I'll say it like I said last game, Monk is going to have 25 or 30. Lyles is going to be so important to what the Kings do today, especially when they go small. And I think Coach Brown's going to have a quick hook again for anyone. And that would maybe even include Sabonis. Going into game 6, Sabonis was a negative 38 for the entire series, and the Warriors have really thrown him a few curveballs in terms of how they are guarding him. On top of that, he may be dealing with that bruised sternum. It may be a little bit more than we know about, causing him some issues with the jump shot and rebounding. So, Connor, would you be surprised if Sabonis minutes are limited today?
Yes and no. Obviously, you're going to need him out there. He's been one of the biggest reasons, if not the biggest reason, that the Kings are where they are. He's obviously struggled in this series, but you got to roll out with him. I'm expecting a huge game from him tonight. I mean, he knows he needs to perform for this team to be successful. So I think Mike Brown's going to roll with him. But like we've seen from Mike Brown all year, he'll pull the plug on you if you're not making a big impact.
Absolutely. And I'd like to see Mike Brown go to the quick timeouts if the Warriors start to make any of those runs, because think about how many game sevens the Warriors have been in. They're 5-5 all time in game sevens. And that's not just this team as we know them or this dynasty. But, our last commenter brought up a good point. This could be an end to the dynasty of the Warriors and the start of something very well. We already have the start of something very special here in Sacramento. But, a lot of people nationally are looking at this series saying it is the most exciting first round series that they have seen in a very long time. And a lot of people feel the winner of this series will go on to the Western Conference Finals, if not the NBA Finals. So, let's go Kings. And, we got to remember it is one game. And I want to see the Kings come out loose. You could tell a huge difference between the way the Kings came out in game 5 versus game 6. Game 6, it almost felt like the pressure was off the Kings. It felt like they were just playing basketball, and if they got the win, great. They get the opportunity to play today, and they were so much more relaxed. So I'm going to be looking for that in the first 5 minutes. Connor, how about you? What are you looking for in the first 5 minutes?
Yeah, again, I look at game 6. It was an 8-0 run to start the game, and that's the perfect start that this team is going to be looking for in game 7 to kind of push the pace and set the standard for this game and let the Warriors know that this isn't going to be any rollover and that the Kings are a team that you're going to have to play your A game to beat. And Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are going to have to do what they do. But this game comes down to Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins and
Yep.
what they're able to produce at the end of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting some comments about Mike Brown. In terms of the coverage for today's game, you're getting the A team from ABC. You're getting Mike Breen, Mark Jackson, and Jeff Van Gundy. So that's about as good as it gets. It's definitely better than our local coverage, far, far and away. We're also getting a lot of comments about adjustments and the coaching today. Once you get to game 7, there is not much more that these teams can throw at each other. They know each other very, very well. There may be some small things here and there, but at this point, even those small adjustments, I would say both sides are probably prepared for what the other side may do. Connor, do you feel the same? And do you think there's anything Coach Brown can do today differently against the Warriors that may throw them off a little bit?
Nothing new, but I think he can pull from some of the strategies he's used earlier in this series. I think you can see Terrence Davis. He'll get those spot minutes off the bench where he can be a pest and use the 6 fouls that he has to make an impact and swing the momentum in the Kings' favor. And then Alex Len, like we said, will there be a role for him in this game? It's yet to be seen, but if Sabonis is struggling, you would think they go to Lyles first, but if Lyles isn't hitting his shots, then they can throw a different look at the Warriors by putting Len in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And Len did not play. Well, maybe he got in towards the end of the game. I don't know if he got a couple minutes after the Warriors pulled their starters. What is up, Philippines? Thank you so much for joining us, Carl. We love all of our international viewers. So do your check-ins. Let us know where you are watching from. So here's the other big thing. There's one thing that was consistent with game 1, 2, and 6. And it's the thing the Kings were awful at all season: defense. The Kings have to, and I'm going to be paying very close attention to this because we talk about Wiggins, we talk about some of their other guys that are kind of those X factors. defense is going to be the X factor for the Kings. I mean, the Kings holding the Warriors to 99 points in game 6 is unheard of on their home floor. And sure, some of that was shooting from the Warriors or shooting woes, but the Kings made it difficult for them and they limited the Warriors' second opportunities. And that's going to be imperative today for the Kings. They cannot allow the Warriors to get those second and third chances. But if I'm Mike Brown, I am going all out and pushing these guys to deny ball, push their offense back, make them start from, further back on the half side of the court and really make Steph Curry and Klay Thompson work for their shots. And that worked in game 1 and 2, and even to a degree in game 6. So do you think the Kings can pull off another defensive effort like we've seen in those games, Conman?
Yeah, I think they can, and it's all about making Steph Curry and Klay Thompson as uncomfortable as you can. Like you said, don't make anything easy for them. Don't fall for the pump fakes. Don't make silly mistakes like fouling on the threes and going under on the screens for Steph Curry. You have to make life very difficult for a guy like him where when he crosses half court, basically all bets are off for where he can pull and make the shot. So you better have Davion Mitchell tuned in and you know that he's going to be kind of face guarding Curry all over the floor, and hopefully he can force some turnovers and get Curry out of his groove.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those who are asking about Grant, there is the man right there checking in. He is traveling now. He takes his picks seriously. So there's some comments that Grant may have not thought there was going to be a game 7. He picked the Warriors in 6. And so he made his travel plans around that. No, I'm just kidding. It was out of his control. He would absolutely love to be here. We would love to be doing a in-person watch party, but next best thing is having Grant for the post game. So Grant again will hopefully be here for post game, and you will have Jerry Reynolds at halftime and post game with me. So that should be a lot of fun. Thanks, boss, for checking in, and hope the flight is going well. So, anyways, we're getting closer to tip off. Kings, Warriors tips off around 12. Knicks and Heat are playing right now. The Knicks with a small lead in New York. That's going to be a heck of a series to watch. Here's a comment from Paul about Draymond Green. Watch for Draymond. He will be looking for blood, literally. Do you think Draymond Green is going to try to get under? He always tries to get under player skins, but do you think it'll be amplified today? And how do the Kings keep their composure?
Yeah, you just gotta have to ignore him and whatever he does. We've seen De'Aaron Fox get the technicals and stuff, and with Scott Foster being the crew chief tonight, he's not gonna mess around. And Draymond Green is gonna, I'm sure he's gonna get to say whatever he wants. We all know he has a longer leash than a lot of the guys on the Kings that the refs will allow, but you can't let him get in your head. You can't make a silly mistake. You can't slam the ball after a call you don't like or get into the official's face. You just got to put your head down and make a play on the other end, and the refs will start to give you some whistles.
Yeah, absolutely. And Waggis is checking in from the game. Waggis, are you going to be counting stops again like you did at the watch party? He swore he would be at game 7, and he is. So thanks for checking in, Waggis. Again, this is If You Don't Like That Pregame Show. I am Ryan in Sacktown. That is Connor Danzy as we get you ready for tip off. I mean, game 7, Connor, where does this rank in terms of biggest games in Sacramento Kings history?
Well, it's got to be in the top 5, and since 2002, it's got to be number 1. With we know that they've had the series with the Timberwolves and some other big games, but this is Game 7 on your home floor in your new arena after the team was saved from leaving the city, and now you have the biggest game. You have Game 7 against a potential developing rival in the Warriors, a chance to end a dynasty that's been really bothering Kings fans for the past 8 to 10 years, and now it's hopefully time for a new team in Northern California to take the big stage.
Absolutely. And a lot of people still commenting about what the Warriors may do Hey, guess what? The Kings can play games with them too if they want. I mean, we are not at the Warriors' beck and call. We don't have to play to their style. We don't have to accommodate them. I mean, the Kings can battle that one way or the other. I mean, ignoring some of those things is sometimes the best thing, and that'll get those guys even more frustrated because if you're trying to take somebody out of their game mentally, that means you're mentally not all the way into your game. You're focusing on that. So we've seen, I mean, as you get to game 7, the rivalries and, the tension between teams certainly increases because everything's on the line, especially for the Warriors. This could be the end of their dynasty as we know it. Doesn't mean that they're still not going to be a very good team, but with this group, with the management there, so there is much riding on this one today. And for Sacramento fans, I mean, we've all been working up till this moment. And I know a lot of you said I can't sleep, I'm anxious. I said this before game 6, just enjoy this. I mean, think about the fact that I'm going to go there. Grant hates it when I go there. We almost didn't have a team, right? We expected this team to be mediocre and maybe get into the play-in, if lucky, get the 8 spot, 7 spot, and get a playoff series where we get bounced out in 4 or 5 games. Guess what? This team has put on a hell of a performance. You have that Arco Arena atmosphere, like that 2002 Game 7 atmosphere today. Soak those moments in, whether you're at the game or whether you're watching it on TV, because it's something special. And guess what, Kings fans? It hasn't come around. This is 22 years since the last time that came around. So enjoy the hell out of it. So let's talk about De'Aaron Fox, and let's talk about his impact on the game today and what we think we're going to see from him. In terms of Fox, I think that he now, having played 2 games with the finger, I think he knows what he can do and what he can't do because he looked much more comfortable in game 6. And there wasn't really any times that he was grabbing at it or was very limited like he was in game 5 towards the middle of the 4th quarter. Connor, what do you expect out of De'Aaron Fox today?
Yeah, the whole game really revolves around him. It's his team tonight, and he's going to be the one making the big decisions if this game is close late. But we all know what he can do in the 4th quarter. We need him to produce a lot in the first 3 quarters as well. We need him to come into the 4th quarter without single-digit points. He needs to get into a groove and make an impact early. And then we all know when the 4th quarter starts, and especially when it's tight, there's no player better in the NBA than him with getting to the basket, getting to his spots in the mid-range, and getting to the line. So I think that last thing, getting to the line, is going to be crucial for this team tonight because you need to get to the stripe, stop the clock, get the free points, and make sure you're knocking them down at a high clip.
Yeah, absolutely. And free throws will be huge. And Guerrero said it really well. I'm going to only do the first part of this because I don't want to jinx the Kings. But the Kings absolutely have to be physical when they are physical with the Warriors. And it doesn't have to be inside to be physical. They can be physical on the perimeter as well. You talk about Davion Mitchell with Steph Curry. I know Kevin Huerter struggled this series offensively. He kind of broke out a little bit here and there in game 6. But Kevin's played very good defense, in my opinion. And I think that those guys, Mike Brown is going to find a way to get those guys going offensively. And, I don't think we're going to see the same old start of the game where it's Sabonis at the top of the key, with Draymond Green or whoever's guarding him, 10 feet away. I think they're going to mix things up and put other people in that spot that Sabonis normally would be at, whether it's a Kevin Huerter, whether it's a Harrison Barnes, and then still run the same action and then try to play a little bit inside out. Because once the Kings get the ball moving and everybody's touching it, they're a completely different team. And another thing we can't have is almost always, or I should say a lot of the times that they have lost this series, or during this series, we've seen one starter that has 0 points at halftime. That can't happen. They've got to get a little bit of something from everyone offensively. Connor, do you agree? And how do you kind of get Kevin Huerter going? How do you get Murray going early in the game?
Yeah, of course. You're not going to win this game unless all five of your starters are producing at least a little bit for you. You got Kevin Herter and Keegan Murray. Look for Mike Brown to get them some open looks early. They can hit a few shots in the first quarter, get in rhythm. That's a recipe for success. And then the other guy that you want that'll score at a different level is Harrison Barnes. Get him down low in the post.
Yeah.
Make him do those slow post up moves where he can get himself to the line, elevate over the defender. And then Fox, obviously, we know what he's going to do. But Sabonis, this has to be an offensive game that is strong from him. He needs to get involved early. We know that the whole standing on the top of the elbow and deciding whether to shoot the ball or not hasn't worked at all this series. So he needs to just get the ball, commit to what he's doing, and attack the rim.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't think about it, right? There's times where he's 3 feet from the hoop and wide open, and he passes that up to try to get right to the hoop. It's take that shot. That's a shot that's in his back pocket. Yeah, David, you're right about Fox. He did have some ball handling issues. But when we talk about Monk putting his shoulder down and going inside and attacking the paint, I completely agree. So Monk has carpe diem free reign to do that, but there are some other guys that sometimes do that, and Monk does this too sometimes where he doesn't know what he's going to do when he's driving in. He doesn't have a plan or, some thoughts in place where he may kick, and all of a sudden he's down low with two guys in front of him right there on the baseline under the hoop, and he's trying to jump pass or he's trying to swing it to the corner and it gets deflected. I want to see them be a little bit more calculated with their drives, but getting to the paint for those guards is definitely big. Make those Golden State defenders step up and make a decision and get some of those Golden State defenders in foul trouble. We've had games where, Thompson has been in foul trouble, Draymond in foul trouble. Keep that same style up that allows for them or puts them in a position where they may get into foul trouble. Connor, the rotation today. Do you think Mike Brown is going to go back to Terrence Davis? And what did you think of Terrence Davis's minutes in Game 6?
Yeah, I think that he will because Terrence Davis, at first glance, it kind of looked like he made some mistakes on defense and was giving up some easy baskets. But then he started to hit a couple shots, and then he started to really intensify his defense. And I know the defense ended up in 6 fouls in a pretty short stint for him, but why not? With a guy like that, use your 6 fouls, make an impact on the game, slow down the Warriors, get physical with them like they do with you, and that can create some good looks for the Kings.
Yeah, it could. Absolutely. So, again, a lot of comments about Grant. He is traveling. He did check in with us via the chat. Our boy Karf, I think he may be at Game 7 as well. Kings need to play like Game 6, plain and simple. Yeah. Again, I think part of that in Game 6 is the Kings weren't uptight. They weren't overthinking it. And to a degree, I kind of feel like the pressure is on the Warriors. It's not on the Kings today. I mean, the Warriors, they're the ones that are the defending champions. The Kings already got a win that nobody thought they would in Game 6. And now it's like, okay, if we win, we win. We're not supposed to. But if we win, we move on. It doesn't feel as uptight as Game 5 did. Because, I maintained Game 5 kind of felt like their Game 7 to me. So I think they are going to be much more loose today, and we'll know in the first few minutes, certainly. And we are getting closer to tip off. But before that, I do want to tell you about one of our favorite places in town, Bennett's. We absolutely love Bennett's so much. They have locations in Roseville, Sacramento, and a soon-to-come location in Rockland in the Blue Oaks Town Center. Mother's Day is coming up. Make sure to be the MVP of your household and get a reservation at Bennett's for brunch or even for dinner that night. They've got great specials on the weekends. Their mimosa special with brunch is awesome. And man, you can't beat their dinner. Grant never strays away from the redfish. That's always his go-to, that and the steak. I love the hanger steak there. They've got some great chicken sandwiches too. So Brian Bennett, great guy, incredible food, incredible staff, huge supporter of the show. So go check out Bennett's locations in Roseville, Sacramento, and a third location soon to come in Rockland in the Blue Oaks Town Center. I'm sure Brian will be front and center for Game 7 today at the Golden One Center. So let's continue to get some of your comments up in here, guys. We want to answer any of your questions you have about Game 7. Connor, they're absolutely loving you here on the pregame show, as they should. Albert, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Not to forget New Works Plumbing. I appreciate that. So New Works has a fix for you. Maybe you can do that live read for us. We'll get you tuned in and on here on the show. So, all right, we're getting closer and closer to tip off. The Kings are taking the floor right now. It looks like a crazy atmosphere at G1C. Let's get your score predictions in here, guys. I would love to see what you think the final score is going to be and see if the Kings are going to win. Carf, thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. Really, really appreciate it. And he says it's bananas here. Actually, I do have somebody sent me a picture of G1 right now. I'll put that up. That's Jay and Kathy. Jay from the comment section, Jay Griffiths. They're at the game, all white. Hey, fans, if you're at the game, wear your white shirts. Do the white out, unless you came to the game in a white shirt or you're wearing a Grant Napier shirt. Make sure. So, anyways, Connor, what are you thinking score-wise today? I'm going to give you a couple seconds to think about it as I read these scores off. Jamie has the Kings 129-119. Freight Train, who joined us for the other show last night, thank you so much. We've got 121-18 for the Kings. Our boy MC is going Kings 142-138. MC, you think it's going to be a higher score? Okay. Does that benefit the Kings or not? Thank you so much for the super chat, the knackered golfist. I love that handle. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Paul has the Kings 117-1. Oh, that Paul, if Grant was here, he would get very upset with you because the winning score goes first. And that would be an NBA record, my friend. That would be a really ugly game to watch. John Finch, freshly shaved. He's got the Kings 133-111 in a blowout. Interesting. All right, Connor, I go to you. What are you thinking final score-wise for Game 7 today?
So I think that the magic number is to keep the Warriors at or below 115 points tonight. So I'll say the Kings win 118-114.
Yeah, you and I are completely on the same page there. I think the Warriors have to be held under 120 points. If the Kings do that, this is the Kings' game to lose. I think the winning score is going to be in the mid 120s. I'm going to say Kings 126, Golden State 119. 126, 119. So we will see. And yes, Grant appreciates the donations very, very much. So we thank you for those. Heck yeah, Carf, rock your shirt there. I bet you're getting a lot of compliments for sure. And Grant says that he loves it. See, we got Grant here. He's just participating through the chat. So, Brandon, thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. Really appreciate it. Got my Kings hat, but more importantly, my white Grant shirt. Amazing. Wear it with pride. Wear it with pride indeed. Grant is in the chat. So throw him a message there. Brian has Kings 124. Warriors 119. Yes. Let's go. Can't say the middle word there. Let's see, MC Nice. All right, guys, you guys are awesome, awesome, awesome. Redfish, we're talking about Bennett's now. Grant is thinking about Bennett's. I'm sure the plain food is not nearly as good as what you get at Bennett's with the redfish and the New York strip. The New York strip is pretty darn good. All right, so we are getting closer and closer. The Knicks game is coming to an end. Some other things I wanted to touch on while we have a couple quick minutes. I think it's really important that the Kings, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, they're going to get theirs. We know that. And when I say get theirs to a degree, if they have 30 each, understandable. They're superstars. Okay. Well, Steph is a superstar. Klay is a star. But Connor, I feel like it's going to be a very uphill battle for the Kings today if you have Draymond Green that's scoring 15 to 20 points. If you have Jordan Poole that scores 17, 18 points. You have Wiggins that has over 20 points. That's where the Kings are going to get into trouble. And I think that's where we get into what you said. They've got to hold them under 115 or at 115.
Yeah, the magic number for the Splash Brothers is keep them under 50 points combined. Give Curry 30, give Klay 20, and I think you're in good shape. I don't want anybody else on the Warriors to have over 20 points, and that means keep a really good eye and focus on Andrew Wiggins. He's been really consistent, surprisingly, in this series. And then their wild card scorer, their max contract guy, Jordan Poole, he's played terrible in Game 6, so expect a bounce back from him. He plays wild, he plays loose, so if he starts hitting his shots, he's a guy to be scared of.
Absolutely. And I love Silent Evil here. That's the approach that I'm taking. You know what? Just I want to see a good game. I think we absolutely will see a good game today. It looks like the Knicks and the Heat have wrapped up. I will give you that final score right now. The Knicks, let's see, as I am scrolling and updating, the Heat knock off the Knicks in New York 108-101. Our boy Nando, Miami Sports Vibes, is going to be really happy about that. So the Heat take a 1-0 lead in that series. ABC is getting ready to kick to Sacramento here for Game 7. I think that the start, again, I go back to the first 5 minutes, how crucial that's going to be, but also shot selection. That's going to be huge as well. You can't let the Warriors go on massive. We already know this, go on massive runs, but this is a game that I think could get away from the Kings if they allow a couple of big runs in the first half. It would be very hard to come back from that. But I think this is a game where the Kings hang around and hopefully say, you're going to play our style. We're not going to play your style. And that's what they did in Game 7. And whether you believe it or not, the crowd is going to be a incredible asset for the Kings today. It's going to be huge in the crowd. If you are at the game, Carf, Jay, all you guys, if you're at the game, if there's a lull for the Kings, pick them up, start cheering loud. The crowd's got to be into it from start to finish. And I think they will. This is just such a special time, and really hope that all of you enjoy the game. Connor, any closing thoughts before we kick everybody out and go watch Game 1?
Yeah, just enjoy the game. Hopefully, it's a classic like some of the games we've had in this series, and hope the Kings can finally get that home win that their fans have been waiting to celebrate all season. They haven't been able to get over the hump with clinching scenarios and big games at home until games 1 and 2, and now hopefully Game 7 they can close it out.
Absolutely. I'm with you. Enjoy the game. This is going to be a special one. It's going to go down for a long time. Win or lose, this is a win for Sacramento. So thank you guys all for joining us here on the pregame show on If You Don't Like That. I will be back at halftime with the one, the only, holy moly, Jim Bob Bowley. Jerry Reynolds. He's going to join me at halftime. We'll break down the first half. And then the post-game show will be myself. Grant will hopefully be here, and Jerry will be joining us for post-game as well. Thank you all so much for being here. Enjoy the first half. Go Kings. Light the beam. Connor, thank you for being here. Make the show better every time you show up. And enjoy the first half, guys. We will see you at halftime.